Hi, my name is Allie McGill, and I was assigned the merchandise manager. And my first assumption was all they did was manage the merchandise, and I was definitely wrong. So first I looked up the general information, and it says merchandise managers are often known as purchasing managers or buyers. They're retail professionals who select the goods that are sold in the stores. Careers for merchandising managers can be found with boutiques, department stores, and other retail outlets. And the required education is a bachelor's degree in business or merchandising in a similar field. Master's or doctoral degree could lead to additional career opportunities, though. And then the 2013 salary is about $109,000 for the purchasing managers. So the job description: the merchandise managers choose and purchase the various products offered by a variety of retail outlets. They oversee a staff and maintain a budget while performing assigned duties that enable a successful company. The primary goal of a merchandising manager is securing the best goods for the lowest cost to the company. A number of employees also assign marketing duties to merchandising managers. So when I went and interviewed them, the first one I talked to was Jeff Vernier. He's the merchandising director at the Utah Grizzlies. First of all, he said for the ECHL level, he only works part-time because it's not really as big as like the NBA or MLS or stuff like that. He works he does other concerts and stuff too, so he's not just full on with the Grizzlies. He also enjoys selling merchandise at concerts. So his typical day would be working in the team store, restocking it, and organizing it to make sure it looks nice. He says that he doesn't really hire high school students, but if he did, he would make sure they only have straight A's. And he recommends that you do really well in math because you're working with lots of numbers, and you could be dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars in a short period of time. I asked him what his favorite part about the job was, and first of all, he said he's only been doing it for 20 years, and he said he loved it. He wasn't really the nicest guy on the phone, but, maybe it was just a bad day for him. He says that he really enjoys how it's like a family environment because it's like a smaller type business, and so there's not as many of them. So he said they treat him like family, and they're all just really close to each other. They said that they enjoy spending time with each other when they're even not at work. He doesn't connect with the team as much as he would like, but they come in sometimes, and he orders specific stuff for them. He says that he really doesn't have a best memory because he's loved every second working there, and he wouldn't change it. He says, and I asked him what the most difficult part of his job was, and he really didn't have an answer because he's like, I just go in and get the work done that I need. But some people, he has to work on holidays sometimes, and he says that some people would think that would be difficult, but for him, he just thinks it's part of the job, and he really doesn't think it's all that bad. And he works from 9 to 5 every day, and on game weeks, and in season he could be working on weekends too. So sometimes he misses out on family time, but he loves his job, and he plans to stay there for the rest of his career, or the most of the career as he can. And then I talked to a lot of people, but the next one that got back to me was Matt Houston, and he's the director of merchandising at Real Salt Lake. By the way, my favorite MLS team. I have season tickets there. And by the way, the team store is always packed. So what he said, first of all, he's very, very enthusiastic, a very happy guy over the phone. And I asked him, what is a typical day for you? And he says he just deals with a lot of daily operations, just kind of what comes to him. But he's always well, not always, but counting the money, and he's making deposits, and he's working on customers' orders, and he's always communicating with his employees. I asked him what his favorite part of the job was, and he kind of chuckled, and he's like, my favorite part of the job would obviously be working for Real Salt Lake. He takes great pride in the team, and he loves working for them. But he said he enjoys everything about it. He loves the satisfaction of when he puts out a good product and all the fans are buying it, and he just loves when all the fans are coming in during the games and he's just seeing all the excitement on their face. And he loves walking into the crowd and like seeing his product just spread out through the whole stadium. And then I asked him if he gets to connect with the team a lot and like how he interacts with them. And he says that he doesn't see the players too often, which isn't really bad, but he'd love to see him more if he could. But he doesn't really talk to the main players a lot, let alone any of the players, because they don't really come in, because once they come in, that's when the fans start coming in, like the hours that they don't want them necessarily. And he says that he sees the wives more than he sees the players, because the players always send their wives in because it just makes it easier. Not for them and for the store, because the fans aren't just coming in looking for the player and not buying the product. And they send the wife to like pick up stuff, like to buy stuff for like their family or for the friends, and like get like the discount that the players get. But he always catches them when he's having meetings in the executive offices. And then I asked him what the most difficult part of his job was, and he said there really is a difficult part like that he doesn't enjoy, but he said if he had to like pick one, it would be dealing with employees. And he said the worst part about that is the scheduling, and like scheduling around like people's like personal lives, which isn't always easy because he has to satisfy like his own needs and their needs and the company's needs. He always have to like try to like level things out. But he said in all like retailing businesses, scheduling is always the most difficult part. And he said working together as a team can be really challenging, but he says that they work together really well, and he likes people that he works with a lot. I asked him what other departments do you work with, and he's a director of merchandising, so he kind of works with all the departments. They have weekly meetings on Mondays, and they kind of just all meet up and like talk about like the plans for like the next week or like the next game and just kind of stuff like that. And when I asked him about his best memory, he really had to think about it for a little bit, but he had to say that the best memory, well, first of all, he's only working on the job for, this is only his second year, and he said his best memory when it was the second week of his job in 2014, so last season. They made $20,000 more than any other game in history, so like they broke the record for most merchandise sold. And it might have been because they were getting like new players, they got a new coach. The assistant coach moved up to the coach, but that doesn't really matter. And then this year they're making $5,000 more than their goal. They're making $5,000 more than like their best day from last year. But he said on average that they make $76,000 per game. Well, yeah, per game. And he says that, like, again, he just really enjoys what he's doing, and he really wouldn't like trade it for anything. And he says, like, working for like a sports team is just cool because like he's always just been in love with sports, and now like he's just kind of like dealing with sports but in a different way. And so that's what they both said. And I really liked talking to Matt Houston, the one from Real Salt Lake that I just talked about more, because he just kind of seemed more like he loved the job more than the other guy did. And I don't know, this kind of just like showed like what kind of like what kind of like area, not area, like shoot, what kind of, I can't think of the word, but like what kind of like thing they work in, what kind of area. Okay, I don't even know, but anyway, he was just like really nice, and he'd make me wanna, he'd be the one to like make me wanna go do the job, I guess. So yeah, overall, this assignment was kind of stressful, but I enjoyed learning about the positions, and honestly, I could see myself working as a merchandise manager because I love clothes and I love sports, and it would be a culmination of the best of both worlds.